Another shift at 3 a.m., 1,000 feet deep. The sun ain't made its way down underneath this cold heap. And doing what he's got to, it's a high price to pay. Keeping food on the table for his family every day. Saying, take me back home, where my heart is. Take me back home, where my heart is. Take me back home.
Welcome everybody to Picks and Bones. I'm your host Eric, bringing you the best in Americana, red dirt, black dirt, Carolina clay, and just good old American rock and roll. Today, I'm bringing to you Andrew Chastain, the man himself, so we can get some insights into how this North Carolina / Georgia boy is bringing you his unique sound and music. Andrew, welcome to the show.
What's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful day out. You never complain when you got sunshine.
Yeah, we've had plenty of rain the last few days. I was glad to see the sun shining this morning.
Yeah, it never hurts anything when you actually you get a sunny day and there's no complaints there. I know I've heard you and heard your music, and you're definitely a Carolina clay artist. Help people kind of understand what your background is and where, to quote one of your songs that you've got that I love, kind of tell everybody your roots.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Western North Carolina, where I'm still at now. My mom's side of the family, they all played gospel bluegrass. Still do. And my grandpa and his brother kind of started the music thing for me. There was always bluegrass music playing in the living room. Our families were always, just hanging out together, playing music together. Friends would come over and play music. So I got exposed to music, from the time I was born. I grew up listening to country radio, 90s country, Garth Brooks, Clint Black, all those guys. That was my first radio kind of experience. And then I've listened to different genres, different periods of my life. But when I started writing music, it came out as a mix of all of that together, I guess. I don't know. I try not to. I get that question a lot as far as like, hey, what genre are you in? Or hey, what do you write? And I'm like, man, it comes out, and I let other people kind of do the labeling part of it. But it gravitates towards that red dirt country music sound is what it seems to always end up naturally falling into.
Well, that's where with our rebranding of the Carolinas, country music and all that, you're definitely, you fit into that red clay because it's real music, it's working man's music, it's music that you're taking all those elements, you're taking that bluegrass roots and bringing that to the forefront because some of the styling and everything with your playing and even with your songwriting and your storytelling is very reminiscent of those older, bluegrass songs and songs that came over from, across the pond, Scotch Irish and everything else. So, I mean, there's definitely an embracing of the musical heritage.
Right.
So, new projects going on in the works, getting ready?
Yeah. We actually just recorded a brand new single this last week with a producer that I met Billy Hume probably a year and a half ago through another Carolina country music artist, Pistol Hill. He was working with Billy, and I went down there and wrote on a song with them. And instantly I was like, man, I want to work with this dude. So time went by, and we got ready to record again. And I contacted Billy a little while back, and we set it up. And we went down there, and man, I'm so glad we did. I can't wait for you guys to hear this song. It's a little bit different direction than we've been going before. You know, it's kind of a little bit more Southern rock sound.
Awesome.
But it's kind of, you know, every time we get into the studio, all my guys are really talented, and we all have, you know, valued input as far as whenever we're making our music. And that's kind of where the song just kind of naturally went to. So rather than, you know, try to make it be something else, we just let it be what it was, and it's pretty rocking. I'm excited for you guys to hear. It's called "The Chains That Bind." It'll be out in. We haven't did an official release date, but in about a month, it'll be out in February. We're going to announce that date probably today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
But
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're excited about it, man.
I mean, I love some of the other stuff you've got out there. Like With You is, man, that's a great song.
Thank you, man.
I see you, baby, with that look in your eyes. Don't think I missed it when you walked on by. I can feel the heat in here is starting to rise. No telling what we might burn out tonight, yeah.
And seriously, if you haven't stopped and listened, you really are doing yourself a disservice by not listening to this guy and his music. I mean, one, in his performance, because, you know, so many people, well, like a lot of other people, you know, it's the live show that really hooks you. You can listen to anybody on, you know, CD, whatever music platform you use, but for somebody to be able to pull off sounding that great in a live show as well, that doesn't happen all the time, and that's that's what you actually do.
I appreciate it, man. That's kind of always been the case. I mean, since I've started, first thing I started recording was in 2014, you know, and been growing the fan base, you know, since then, and things have steadily increased over the years, and I've stuck with it. This is year number 7, I guess, doing the music thing. And that's the most common thing that I hear is people who have only heard our music through streaming services or have a CD or whatever, and then they come see us live, and they're like, wow, you guys are actually better live. And we take that as a compliment, but we also take that as we got to step our game up in the studio and get a better representation, you know. So that's why we're excited about this one, because for the first time, this is going to be I think you're going to get that same experience that you do live from hearing this new track.
That's one of those challenge accepted, right?
Exactly.
I know you said you came up in a bluegrass family. Who were some of your original influences?
I mean, anybody that was on country radio, honestly. One of the first memories that I can remember associated with music outside of, you know, my grandpa and his brother and my family playing was probably I had a babysitter named Barbara that lived down the road. My mom used to drop me off there every day. And she had a son named Dwayne, and he was in high school. You know, I was like 3 or 4, so he was just like the ultimate cool guy to me, you know, at that age. And
oh yeah,
he was blasting. He had a big stereo system in his room, and he was blasting the Thunder Rolls one day, and I could just specifically remember that, like just plain as day. And I don't know. I guess it kind of started then. Like I didn't realize it at that point, but I mean, I loved singing, and I would sing along with everything on the radio, and all those 90s country artists, you know, Shenandoah, Garth Brooks, Clint Black, Clay Walker,
stuff.
All those guys.
Yeah,
that was
stuff,
kind of
man.
What I grew up listening to and what I was singing along with on the radio, you know, so it's kind of one of the natural influences, I guess.
And I get that. Did you first learn guitar, or did you learn any other instruments to begin with?
No, it's just a guitar.
Okay.
My mom played piano, and I would peck around on that, and I kind of had a natural ear, so I could pick out some melodies. And then I had this like little mini guitar when I was probably 7 or 8, and started picking around on that, just picking out melodies and stuff whenever people would be around playing. I just kind of be in the background. And then as I got older, I got when I was about 13, I got my first real guitar. And then it just kind of kept growing from that. Started writing probably 8 or 9 years later after I got out of high school. Yeah.
What was that first real guitar?
It was a $200 Takamine Jasmine was the first one. That was when I was probably about 13, I guess. A few years later, I got a Martin. My mom got it for me for Christmas. It was like a big deal for me, and I played that for 7 or 8 years until I got it stole from me at an open mic one night.
Oh man,
yeah, that
people
sucks.
suck like that.
Oh man, I've still got the serial number, dude. It'll pop up one day. It'll come back. It's been about probably 15 years now, but I still keep an eye on it every now and then.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know why people feel like, it's okay to ever go stealing. This is somebody that's like you going up and taking, stealing a guy's truck full of all of his tools that's in construction. Thanks for taking away my livelihood.
Right.
And, just, people.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I was mad about it for a long time. For a couple of years, I was really mad about it. But I don't know. It's everything happens for a reason. And my grandpa ended up giving me an old jumbo Yamaha that he had to kind of, because I was just starting to book shows at that time, and he ended up giving me this guitar. And
is that like one of the old classicals?
It's a jumbo. It's I don't have it sitting out here, but it's probably like a early '80s Yamaha, and it ends up this one's actually Brazilian rosewood, which is illegal to use now, which is really sought after. So it's sounds really, really good, man. It's kind of one of those, but it's got more sentimental value. So I mean, if I hadn't had my guitar stolen, I hadn't been in a tight spot, who knows? Might not have got that guitar from my grandpa. So I mean, things happen for a reason. You can't stay mad at them too long.
See, when I was learning guitar, I was learning on my dad's Yamaha Classical. So you got that big wide neck and this huge guitar, and you're trying to play. And I'm sorry, it just does not play like a standard acoustic for anything. Yeah. But it's kind of like that. You go from an acoustic to an electric, damn, your fingers can move fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, and they're a lot more limber because of playing on an acoustic.
Right.
So, where you, well, let me rephrase that. Some of the best places that you've been playing at, what are they?
Some of the best places. Well, I mean, we've got our hometown spots, and we've been branching out the last year or so. We did our first Midwest tour this last fall. And so we play a lot of cool places, but I guess for me, the way that I think about it is like some of the most memorable places. Anderson Music Hall in Hiawassee. We opened up a sold-out Hank Williams Jr. show there last April, and that was pretty awesome. Not only doing the show with Hank and a sold-out crowd, but Anderson Music Hall, their sound system and their engineers and stuff. It's nice, man, whenever you can go in and you can set up and sound is great and you didn't have to lug any of it in or
that's always great
on the board. Oh, man. But, we play there. We got another show coming up with Tracy Bird there this year in August, I think, and we always look forward to playing there. We play Chevelle's in Murphy. That's kind of our hometown stomping grounds. We had a show there this last weekend. It was awesome. Just a huge turnout, and we're never disappointed with the support that we get, from our local stomping grounds and lots of places, man. Sandbar in Hiawassee, we play there quite a bit. It's a fun place, always a good crowd. But yeah, I could sit down and write out a list probably.
Oh, no doubt. When you did the Midwest thing, did you discover any really cool bands while you were there?
I did
or did you play with any great bands?
No, it was all solo stuff.
Okay.
I mean, we were the only band on the ticket for all the shows that we did that time. I went up there on a solo tour back during the summer, and I actually was checking out this amphitheater that we might potentially be playing at, and there was another band playing there that evening, and they were sound checking called the Hoot and Hollers, and they're a little bit different. They're not country for sure, but it's really unique, kind of like a blues rock thing, but it's a 3-piece. There's a chick that plays this baritone sax that it's bigger than she is. The drummer stands up the whole time, and they've got their own unique style, really, really rocking. And that was cool. It was really ironic because I'm talking to my guys back home. It's a solo tour, and my drummer, Ben, he used to play with a band called the Harm Brothers. And he's like, dude, we've toured with those guys. He's like, I've slept at their house before. So it's kind of ironic, being up in the middle of nowhere in Iowa or Illinois, wherever we were at, and running into a band that, my drummers slept at their house before.
Yeah, because everybody's drummer's got to sleep at somebody's house.
He makes this joke all the time, and we kind of interchange it with the bass player. But he's like, "What do you call a single drummer?" And everybody's like, "What?" And he's like, "Homeless."
That's kind of true. There's a lot of truth to that too. Now I know some guys that play that are out on the Illinois circuit and everything. I just didn't know if you may have crossed paths at some point. Right. With these boys while they were out playing. When we get done recording, I'll kind of throw you some names and everything. So if you run across them, definitely tell them that you're from out my neck of the woods and everything. Right. You might get treated great. And it's you find out what small world is because a couple of those guys, one of them where we got plans, he's coming down here because his grandfather's got a place on the lake here. And it's just like, how small a world is that? He goes, well, it just means we're going out on the boat and drinking beer.
It is a small world, man. In the music community, it's something that just kind of I keep learning that lesson over and over.
Well, and the music community is coming together, they're coming together like they haven't before. As far as being supportive of one another and, everybody wanting to help everybody else get along and get by and to, make their, shot or whatever it's going to be.
Right.
But, like these rounds like you guys were doing back, at before the holidays. Those songwriter nights like that where you've got, 5 guys just up showcasing their own stuff. I mean, that's some of the best music experiences that anybody can come out because you're going to get to hear the best of what everybody's got. Right. And you're going to get to, hear it real. And I know when I say real, I mean, with that live, you're going to get that feel because most guys, you're a lot more relaxed when you're up doing something like that.
Right.
At least, I always was back in the past.
Yeah.
Where you're able to enjoy it as much as you hope the audience is.
Yeah.
Because you can cut up. And, hey, if you miss something, that just makes it even better.
Yeah.
Because, you guys get to cutting up and having a good time and everything.
Yeah. I agree. It's the laid back part of it, I mean, I love doing gigs with my band and I love my guys and it's a lot of fun, but it is a little bit more free, I guess, whenever you're doing a writer's round, and I'm not worried about messing anybody up. I'm just, messing my own self up, basically.
And you can do that. You've got the right to do that.
Yeah.
Andrew, what's your songwriting process? I mean, are you one of those guys that, you don't even have to try, or are you one of those guys that, maybe do you get the melody stuck in your head and you craft the lyrics around that?
It's different for me. I mean, there's some similar processes through some of my songs, and a lot of them have been written the same way, but there's also different processes for lots of different songs that I've written. Sometimes I'll sit down and I might have a line in my head lyrically or, kind of poetically, and I might just sit down and throw a melody to that, and then maybe just sit there and spitball and freestyle, so to speak, to get an idea up and work on that. I do try in my writing. Lyrics are very important to me. So when I listen to music, that's usually the first thing that I'm hearing is the lyrics and the voice. And that's where I usually connect with artists, the most. I listen to the music as well, and I definitely have, my preferences, but it's so funny. All my guys, that's one thing I've learned through this recording process over the last 4 or 5 years is when we get mixed back from studios, we're all listening to it and analyzing every part of it, but my bass player will be hearing something totally different than I'm hearing. It's like, he's like, okay, the kick needs to be more round and the bass needs to punch through right here. And I'm like, dude, I didn't notice any of that, but I noticed this part on the vocals right here are doing this. He's like, well, I didn't notice any of that. So it's so funny how people just listen differently. They kind of key in on different things. And for me, lyrics are pretty important. So that's usually what I have the most focus on whenever I'm writing the song, rather than the melody. Melody kind of adapts. I mean, I can write a song, I can write a lyric sheet out, and then you can throw a melody down and I could sing those lyrics to that melody, most likely,
There you go.
Kind of adapts that way for me.
Who are some of your favorite songwriters?
Jason Isbell's up there, man.
Oh, yeah, he's a good one.
He's definitely, Eric Church. I know he's really, I don't listen to a lot of radio country, these days, but I've always kind of identified with his writing. He's from, I think, Hickory area or Banner Elk, somewhere, in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And, him and a lot of those guys from 90s country, so it's funny, man, you start going back and listening to 90s country and the songs that you grew up on, and a lot of the writing is kind of cheesy, some of it's a little corny and stuff. Well, but
everybody has to have their red Solo cup. Everybody has to have that one cheese ball song.
Yeah, you got your good time and feel good, crowd pleasing, crowd participant songs, I guess.
But see, then you also had the Keith Whitleys, and you had the Earl Thomas Conleys that would just rip your soul out. And, there's your heart on the ground. Yeah, let's just step on it a little bit.
I love it, man. Sad songs are my favorite.
I agree. You ever listen to Daryl Scott?
No. Not that Daryl Scott.
Yeah, as someone who is a songwriter and lyricist, aficionado, he is probably the greatest there's ever been.
Yeah.
Vocally and songwriting. You've heard his music. He wrote Long Time Gone that the Dixie Chicks recorded. He wrote Great Day to Be Alive that Travis Tritt recorded. Right. You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's written a lot of great things that other people have recorded, but they're nothing like how he performs it.
Right.
To hear him do it, you're hearing a different song, and you're hearing so much heart, soul, pain, everything to it. And one of the most gifted musicians I've ever had the pleasure of sitting down and listening to. Guitar, he'll tear it up. Dobro, tear it up. Piano, doesn't matter. He plays all of them. But to hear him play guitar is like listening to five guys playing at the same time. He is all over that Taylor like, mud on jeans. And I mean, do yourself a favor. When you check him out, you're gonna get in touch with me, and you're gonna be like, "Damn it, where has he been? Why have I not discovered him before now?" He's out of Kentucky, and seriously, he is a storyteller, and as well as anybody that's into the whole lyrics of things, you're looking for a good story,
right?
And you want a story that kind of has a beginning and an end, but if it's got a continuation, you want to still feel like it's been wrapped up.
Right.
Because you I don't know, have you listened to much Turnpike Troubadours?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, you know how Evan tells stories.
Yeah.
There's always a nuance, like the whole, my grandfather's Belgian Browning kind of thing.
Right.
So where are you seeing your direction headed in the future now?
I don't know. It's a good question. I try not to. You got to prepare for the future, and you got to work for a goal. But at the same time, I try not to get too specific of ideas. I kind of let, my work ethic and my faith put me where I need to be.
Gotcha.
And I do the work on the back end. We prepare for success. We prepare for getting bigger, for doing better things, and kind of just not have any expectations. We have goals, and we're working towards those goals a little bit at a time. But try to enjoy the ride too, man. You get caught up too much in in where you should be career wise, or what you should be doing, and I've been down that road so much, and you just, you might not, you're never going to be as far along as you think you should be or you want to be. So I try not to focus too much on the status level of where we're at, and try to enjoy it while we're here, and just work to get better, work to get better gigs, play better venues, get better deals, write better music.
I'd like to see you in South Carolina more.
Yeah, dude, I like it. I didn't start playing down there until first gig I played in South Carolina was about a year ago, I guess, and it was at Tribbles. It was on the Hillbillies and Guitars tour with Justin Clyde and Pistol Hill and Marty Brooks, and that was my South Carolina debut. It's cool, man. I love that place down there.
It's a great venue, and Ken's a beast. I mean, come on, let's just call a spade a spade. Ken's a beast. So is Pistol Hill, though. I had him on the show last week, and
oh, nice.
His interview will be airing soon. But man, talk about a great guy to talk to. I don't know what it is about you North Carolina boys these days that there's so much just great raw talent coming out of North Carolina that people have not paid that close of attention to,
right? That
need to. So that's why we're trying to do this whole rebranding of Carolina music. That Carolina Clay, we have our own unique sound. We don't sound like Texas. We don't sound like the Midwest music,
right? Or
even the Canadian country. Because, the Canadians are really diving on into it.
Yeah.
But you're going to get that more Western feel, like the old true, Western music, the cowboy songs.
Right.
But, yeah, man, I'm excited to see where everything lands with the music scene around here. Because, like I said, it's got so much potential. And there's so many guys doing some great things that, from the music scene aspect, people should be really proud of what's happening right now. And get out and support it. That's the biggest thing. is to get people out there and support you. Just because they've never heard you before doesn't mean that they shouldn't come out there and give everybody an opportunity to be heard. Because you're going to realize, odds are, if you're really playing in a really crappy bar, your band is going to be about the equivalent. If you're playing, now I'm not talking about dive bars is a whole different story. Dive bars has usually some of the best music you're ever going to hear because, those people, they like they don't want expensive beer or expensive drinks, but they want good music and they want to be entertained.
Right.
And those are always some of my favorites to play in.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own favorites, so we know how that goes. Let's see. Let's dive into some bare bones of things. We've already what is your favorite guitar to play?
My favorite guitar to play?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know if I've got a favorite guitar to play. I've got currently I'm playing a Martin HD 28. I've had it for a couple years. It needs a fret job right now, but I like to play it. I don't know if I have a favorite guitar, man. It's kind of to me, it's a tool, so this is a really good tool and I love this guitar, but eventually I'm going to get another tool and I'll love that guitar. And then eventually I'll get another one, so it's kind of, a lot of people have a really close relationship with a particular instrument of theirs, but I like them all. I don't discriminate between my guitars, I guess.
Everybody gets equal love. I like it. Okay, what is a band that you're really into right now?
Steel Woods. I've been rocking those guys pretty good for the last year or so. Their songwriting, their original songwriting, and their performance. And I saw them live. I've only been to I've been to less than 10 concerts in my life. And I canceled a show, one of my own shows, on pretty short notice, which I never do. But the venue owner kind of heard me talking about it to somebody and was like, hey man, if you want to go see that show, we can see if we can find somebody to fill in for you. And I was like, that'd be pretty awesome, actually. So canceled the show, went out to Asheville and saw them, and there was a lot of experiences that night, but it was pretty awesome.
All right. What is your all-time favorite book?
All-time favorite book. I've got a bunch of them, man. I read, a buddy of mine got me turned on to Louis L'Amour back when I was probably 21, 22, right around the same time I started writing music. And I read probably 30 of those one summer. Are you familiar with Louis L'Amour?
Oh, yeah.
Western writer,
Oh, yeah.
But probably one of my favorite books is one of his that's not a Western. The Walking Drum is one that he wrote, and it's kind of medieval times. It's a storytelling book. It's really easy. I've read a lot of complex books, but that's not the most the fanciest book I've ever read for sure. But at the time that I read it, I probably enjoyed it more than I've enjoyed a lot of other books through that time.
That's all that matters, is that you enjoy
That's it, man.
Okay, you're a North Carolina guy. Pulled pork or brisket. Now, dry rub. If you go the sauce route, what kind of sauce?
I like pulled pork, and I like a vinegar-based sauce myself. It's I know that North Carolina's got a big thing, with barbecue, and that's really out more towards like Lexington. We got lots of barbecue here too.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not a picky eater, man. I was when I was a kid, and I like it all.
Yeah, just give me the food, right?
Yeah, just let me eat.
Okay, what was the first record you either bought for yourself or picked out for somebody to buy for you?
It's funny. I was talking about this with my guys the other day. The first music that I can remember getting was a cassette tape. It was probably back in 91 or 92. I was 4 or 5 years old, and I don't know why I'd asked for it, but it was a Clint Black cassette tape. I got it for Christmas, and I had this like Walkman cassette player thing, and I can remember listening to that in my bedroom and like singing really loud with the headphones on, and then realizing that I was singing. That's probably the first time, I guess, that I was singing out loud.
You were out listening to Killing Time, killing it, right?
Yeah. Thought I was killing it. I'm sure it was a little off key.
I know you said that, you've only been to like 10 concerts. What was your first one that you remember?
First concert. Man, I think it was Gary Allen. I think it was a Gary Allen show at Wild Bill's in Duluth, Georgia. Pretty sure.
All right. This is a 2-part question. The first part of it is, what is your go-to jam song? I mean, it comes on, you're cranking up the radio or, whatever you're listening on, and, you're singing at the top of your lungs. If you're in the vehicle, the windows are down, and you're just letting it go free. That's part one. Part two, what is your guilty pleasure song that you hate to admit that you love it as much as you do? That's the one that everybody's like, nah, man, don't make me answer that one.
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, the jam song kind of changes, seasonally, I guess.
Oh
yeah. I mean, you can go something like Tyler Childers' White House Road, for the jam song. I like that guy. I like his music. I like his writing. And we cover that song in my band. We try not to cover a whole lot of music, but when you're playing a 4-hour set, we don't have enough original material to cover all that, but we try to cover the songs that we like that one.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, what's that guilty pleasure song?
Damn, man. I don't know. I should have got some questions before we started this. I could have been prepared.
No, man, the whole point is to catch somebody unprepared on this.
Catch unprepared?
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure. I'm just trying to think of something that I like that's weird.
I mean, I threw it out there. One of mine is I love Britney Spears. I can't help it. Judge me if you will.
I'm judging. I'm totally judging
quietly,
right now,
silently judging me for it. But I love. She came out. Now I'm not saying like once she went completely over the deep end or anything, but
right.
Some of her stuff is really catchy, and I'm not even a pop music person, but I dig her stuff. And she's different. She's unique. She really doesn't give a damn what anybody thinks.
Right.
And I respect people that are different.
I mean, guilty pleasure. I don't even listen to the dude, but I've always kind of, every time I hear his music, it's totally not my genre, but every time I hear it lyrically, I'm thinking, damn, that's clever, and Eminem, I guess, would be.
Okay.
So I guess that would be kind of a guilty pleasure. I really don't listen to rap, and I don't listen to Eminem, but that's the most outside the box thing that I can think of that I naturally kind of gravitate towards whenever I hear it.
Oh no, I completely get it. Okay, let's see. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, I guess.
All right. Is there a person, living or dead, that you would love to be able to take the stage with one time?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Chris Stapleton is one that comes to mind pretty quick. I found him back whenever he was with the Steel Drivers, and it was was ironic, man. I was driving down the road. I hadn't listened to bluegrass in years because I grew up on it and was kind of sick of it, I guess, and I just flipped over the channel to Bluegrass Junction. I was like, I kind of feel like listening to bluegrass. And at that moment, the DJ was saying, here's a debut song from a debut band called the Steel Drivers, Midnight Train to Memphis. And as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, holy shit, who is that dude? So I've been following him ever since then, and his writing and just his performances, his guitar playing, it's all people say what they will, about the mainstream side of it, but I respect him a whole lot.
Oh, absolutely. And that's another guy. He sounds live identical to how he sounds on his CDs.
Right.
And I mean, that never really happens. Okay, let's see. Besides yourself, who is some bands that, or who's a couple of musicians that you think people should be checking out?
Justin Clyde Williams, for sure.
Yeah, that name's never been said on this show before.
Man, I tell you what, I met that dude when I was talking about the Hillbillies and Guitars tour last year, and the first night I was sitting, never met this guy, never even seen him. I'd been busy and I really hadn't checked out what was going on with this tour. I was sitting in for like 3 or 4 days with these guys, and I pulled up to Shooters in Hickory, met him, and then we went in, and by like the first halfway through his first song, I was sitting next to him, and I'm just like, holy shit, This guy is the real deal. And that feeling just kept climbing and climbing, not only that night, but the next night. And second or third night, man, he sang a song that literally made me cry, like up there in front of everybody. We're in a round, and I'm sitting here listening to his music, and I really connected with the song on a personal level, and it just opened up so many things, and I couldn't help it, man. It was he's the type of writer. There's not a lot of writers that can do that can give you those kind of, invoke those emotions and make those feelings happen on such a level like that. But Justin Clyde Williams for sure. Tyler Hatley, I just met that guy a few months back when we did a tour together. That's the same time I met you, actually.
Yep.
The same night I met you and Tyler the same night.
Tyler's a mess.
Oh man, I like the hell out of that dude. Great songwriter too.
He is.
I hadn't listened to his music before the tour, but after the tour, during the tour and then after the tour, I went and got all of his music, and great songwriter, great performer. Pistol Hill, we mentioned him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Pistol's a good writer. Pistol's worked with Billy, the same guy that we're working with. He's got really quality stuff out there. Marty Brooks, another buddy of mine. I hadn't talked to him in a little bit, but he's from Alabama. He's in the process of recording, I think, his first album right now. I don't know when it'll be out, but a lot of guys, man, a lot of guys in North Carolina and South Carolina and in the Southeast that are doing things that a lot of people don't know about and really should know about. I think if you were to expose any of those guys to 50,000 people, they would have 50,000 fans. It's just a matter of getting the platform for people to hear and see them.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you're doing good work, brother. You are, man.
I appreciate that. Okay, this is everybody's. Well, 2 more questions. Do you have a life mantra, or do you have this do you have a personal saying that keeps you going through, things get tough or rough?
I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna refer to some lyrics from a song that I wrote, and it's an idea that my grandpa kind of instilled in me. Both of my grandpas played a part in instilling this sort of mindset in me, and it's in our song Roots, and it says, "Know where you're going, and don't forget your roots." So know what's in front of you and know what's behind you. Know where you've been, know what you've been through, and know which direction you're headed. Kind of keep an eye on both of those things.
I love it. All right, the last one. What animal would be your spirit animal, and why?
It's insanely ridiculous that I've gave this way too much thought
My man.
beforehand. All right, so I mean, you got a couple rules to establish. I feel like flying animals and land animals should be different, because I want to be an eagle, but I also want to be a lion.
You can be a griffin. You can be a mythical beast.
Oh, there you go. Be a griffin for sure, man. Best of both worlds. Because if I could just go up and fly over these mountains every day, I don't think that there would be a more freeing feeling. And lions are just majestic, dude. I mean, you see one and it's like, I don't know, they're scary and they're awe-inspiring at the same time.
Mm-hmm. They really are. And I've actually worked with them, so I know that experience well. So that's
you've worked with lions. You got to elaborate on that a little more, man.
I used to work at a zoo.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I've worked around all kinds of exotic animals over the years. So giraffes, leopards, lions. No bears.
Yeah.
I used to rehab wolves, so it's cool. I've always been around something different that wasn't everybody's normal.
Right.
So, it's an experience, but that's stories for another day. That's stories that we need to tell personally over a beer sometime.
All right.
You got any shout outs other than what we've covered so far?
Shout out to all of our fans. I mean, all the people that have been supporting us over the years. I can't thank everybody enough, man. I mean, we work really hard. We put in a lot of time. Most of us have dedicated our lives to music. That's all I do now. That's my only form of income, and it's a way of life. And it wouldn't be possible without the support that I've received over the last 7-8 years from all the people in my town, through social media throughout the country. We've got a national fan base, and we kind of depend on people supporting us and buying our music and coming to our shows to keep doing what we love and keep getting better at it and keep making better music. So shout out to all those guys. Shout out to you for doing the good work.
Appreciate
getting putting the word out there and helping this music thing stay alive, because without people like you and without people like our fans, people don't care. People will stay at home. They'll be in their own kind of tunnel vision, their own world, and especially in the technology today. Don't get me started on that, but
yeah, exactly.
We need to support each other, and I'm a big fan of musicians supporting other musicians, and
absolutely
appreciate what you're doing.
Well, right on. Well, folks, let's thank Andrew Chastain again for coming on today. Man, I've enjoyed our talk. I mean, I've enjoyed every time we've had a chance to talk. But folks, get out, listen, go check his music out. He's got some videos out there too. Like you said, he's on all the socials. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube even. So go check him out. Give him a listen. Buy his music. More importantly, that's how the best way you can support your bands is to buy their albums and CDs and everything. Because when you use just streaming services, they're getting basically nothing for that. So, and if you say you love them and you want to support them, that's your best way. And show up at shows and buy their merchandise. That's the best way you can take care of these guys. So, folks, be good to one another, and I will catch you next week.
And I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina. I spent my summers riding bikes, catching catfish and lightning bugs. My mama and daddy never spared the rod or the good book. those hands, well, they were calloused as could be.